Right now at 6, we're taking a look at the aftermath of the winter storm.
As you see in that video, a number of neighborhood streets in the area still covered. Main roads look clear, but that's a little deceiving with some black ice out there. We'll talk about that and our cold temperatures coming up.
Plus, snow removal crews are working around the clock. We've got a closer look at what's being done in Carthage.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KLAM Morning News. At 6 a.m., I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, January, the 27th now, is it?
27th.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, okay. So, in a way, Santa was like a month late bringing snow because this snow just about lined up with the 24th, 25th, and into the 26th.
But you have to think about it. We are, as much as I wanted a white Christmas, I am glad that this snow didn't happen then because it would have made, family travel and get-togethers so much harder.
And I get, that's the thing. We all want that white Christmas until we realize that we're going to have to get out in it. Because I know there's a lot of folks, our families are in this area, so we don't have to travel far. We're traveling locally, but you get a snow like this, and even traveling locally becomes a bit of an issue. And that's why a number of schools are still closed today. You can probably see them down there at the bottom of your screen. And that is simply because, again, we got a lot of neighborhood streets, rural routes, back roads, things like that aren't clear. So yeah, you may be driving like, well, I don't get it. The main roads are fine. And you're right. For the most part, they are. But then you got to think about those buses getting through the back roads and on side streets, and it's a little more difficult still.
It's making turns in my little car, my little Kia Soul in the snow is fun this morning. So I can't imagine, spinning out in a big old bus.
Yeah, that would not be fun or safe at all. So that's why we still want you to be cautious out there. Let's start. We're going to take you around the area because I do want to talk about that black ice potential versus the clear roads. Every winter we talk about it, but it is something that sometimes it's easy to forget about because we don't get that many snows during the winter season. We don't really get that many at all. But if you look, now like I said, I didn't drive through here, so I can't verify 100% that this is black ice, but you see these shiny spots here on Broadway. Odds are it's frozen. It sure isn't wet this morning, not when it's 20 degrees. That's definitely going to be frozen. So you got to watch out for that. KDOT camera 69, just north of Baxter Springs. Again, the highway, it looks clear, but you've got to watch out for those shiny spots out there that's going to be slick, that black ice. The other thing you need to watch out for in the cities and on the highways is side streets. Like this one here. This is a great example, especially 2-lane roads. You see how people coming in and out, they're pulling that snow into that far right lane, which means you're going to run into a patch that's a lot slicker right here than it is even in the lane right next to it. And same on the other side. People coming out at truck stops. See those slick spots? Yeah, that's what you've got to be cautious about. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looking to the south. Again, looks clear, but you still need to be very cautious. Same from the MoDOT camera at 20th in range line in Joplin. And this one is exit 4. It's really dark. It's just the brightness isn't turned up on it. But as for the other locations, again, it looks clear, but you see those shiny spots. That's what you've got to watch out for. And they're going to be worse, especially on 2-lane roads where the lines are. That's not going to be as clear, not as much melting because cars don't go over. So if you're merging, that could lead to issues as well. We're 21 in Joplin, colder in Pittsburgh, though, sitting at 16. Across the area, we are into now we've got some single digits. 9 in Neodesha and Parsons. Got low, mid, upper teens and some low 20s here and there. Grove, the warmer spot at 22. But we are breezy this morning as well. So now we got wind chills back below 0. Iola, Neodesha, Parsons below 0. Most of us at least 0 or slightly above. But it is pretty darn cold out there. However, this might make you feel warm, just these orange colors. We are upwards again, 10, almost 30 degrees warmer now than where we were 24 hours ago. Like I said, doesn't feel like it, but we are. Winds, thankfully, will ease up by late morning into the afternoon. Clouds will begin to increase this afternoon into the evening as well, and that will help slow our temperature drop through the evening, but we will eventually get cold again tonight. So clear skies to start, 20 by 9, upper 20s by noon. Highs today, upper 20s, low 30s, and again, those winds eventually becoming calm by this afternoon. I'll try and do some warming this week, and then we're going to get really cold again. We're going to go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The 4 states continues to dig out from a punishing winter storm that brought heavy snow. fierce winds and dangerous cold to the region. Road crews have been working hard to clear the streets, and businesses are clearing parking lots and driveways. But driving conditions could be iffy for a while, and some schools have already canceled classes for a second day because of the cold. In Carthage, snow removal crews have worked nearly around the clock since the storm moved through. Zipper Lawn Care of Carthage started operations yesterday morning, shoveling sidewalks and cleaning business parking lots. Despite sunshine, it's not enough to melt the snow quickly.
It's not really going to melt. It's going to take a longer time than you'd like, and plus we got to get these businesses open. We got to get it clean. Everybody can get in and out. People still got to commute and get around, so there's still stuff to be done.
Mitchell also helped his elderly neighbors by clearing snowy sidewalks and entryways. The crew recommends applying ice melt after clearing snow to prevent overnight refreezing. The city of Springfield is revealing the lineup for the National Route 66 Centennial Kickoff, a 4-day event helping recognize the city as the birthplace of Route 66. On Thursday, April 30th, NBC's Today's Show will broadcast its third hour live from Springfield. Al Roker, Dylan Dreyer, and Craig Melvin will help spotlight the city's role in American transportation history. Later that day at 4 o'clock, a dedication ceremony will take place at historic site where officials sent the telegram suggesting the Route 66 name. But the fun doesn't end there. Following a state-mandated upgrade on the wastewater treatment plant in Frontenac, the city is proposing a 0.75% city-wide sales tax. Yesterday, the first public open house session took place, with city officials making themselves available to answer questions about the proposed sales tax. City officials say hosting open houses for citizens to ask questions is essential to being transparent about the proposal. While most of us stay inside during the storm, snowplow operators work around the clock to keep Joplin moving. That includes some who operate their own private businesses. As KOAM's Ty Parks shows us, some have been pushing 50-hour shifts since Saturday night.
Snow hits and one business increased in demand, the business of snowplows. For many operators, the schedule started Saturday night. Jared Jenkins of Simpson Lawn Care knows all too well.
Definitely busy. We stay working. I'm working. I'm pushing about 50 hours right now since it started snowing. I've got about 2 hours of sleep, but I mean, it's work. It's got to be done.
When other people are bedding down and stocking up on food, they are preparing.
So we go ahead and we get equipment ready. We get them all fueled up. We get anti-gel in the fuel so they don't gel up in all the cold weather. Get the plows on the trucks. Anything we can do to prepare just in case. Even if it doesn't snow, at least we're prepared for it and we're ready to go.
Businesses in Joplin are grateful for the plow business because they work those long hours.
100%. It's a safety concern for one. It's a sign of compassion for two. And, you know, in that sense, I feel like it's a good engagement with the community. You're utilizing a business in the area and you're supporting one another.
How do the operators keep going?
Coffee. Yeah, lots of coffee. Yeah, energy drinks. I mean, it's bad, but someone's got to do it. I mean, I don't know. Just good state of mind, I guess. Make sure everyone can make it home.
Local businesses could have stayed open without the snowplows, but...
We could have. I don't know that people would have been very appreciative of that.
In Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Federal officials make major personnel changes following a deadly shooting and community unrest. Plus, a former supermodel addresses controversy surrounding her hit reality show in a new documentary. And we have a bit warmer temperatures this week as some of this snow continues to melt. Chris has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, the state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul asked a federal judge to stop President Trump's immigration crackdown after the fatal shooting of a second U.S. citizen in Minneapolis over the weekend. The president sent his border czar to take charge of operations there. Matt Gutman is in Minneapolis with the latest.
Greg Bovino, for weeks, the public face of federal immigration operations here, has been reassigned from Minneapolis, along with some Customs and Border Protection agents here. That surprise move and the president's conversation with Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz today follow tense scenes overnight. It all comes a day after that deadly shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy. Multiple videos posted on social media captured various angles of the confrontation that led to Preddy's death Saturday morning. CBS News has slowed down portions of that footage for this analysis. Around 9 a.m., about 2 minutes before the shooting, Alex Preddy is seen arguing with agents. Preddy was acting as an observer, documenting ICE operations in the city, like thousands of others here in Minneapolis. Preddy, seen wearing that ball cap, holding a cell phone, is pushed back. A minute later, he's standing in the street, waving a car through. An agent approaches another apparent observer, then shoves her toward the sidewalk. Another agent pushes Preddy, then a second woman walks over. The agent pushes her to the ground and sprays Preddy with a chemical irritant. Preddy and the first woman try to help the woman who was knocked down. At least 7 agents join and try to take Preddy down to detain him. At this moment, an agent in a gray coat appears to remove Preddy's gun from his waistband and runs away from the scrum. A second later, with Preddy's gun now in the hands of that agent, the shooting starts. The agents fire as they pull back from their target. Preddy was an intensive care nurse at the Veterans Affairs Hospital in the city. We spoke with Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara.
Is there a concern that a genie has been let out of a bottle and that it'll be very hard to put it back in terms of mass protests across the city and the possibility of additional violence?
That's been my fear the entire time. I'm just concerned that the pressure is just going to keep building and building and building. And at some point, it's just going to be too much. People are losing faith that the federal government can be capable of enforcing federal law and doing it professionally and without widespread constitutional violations. They're creating a culture in these agencies that's not good, and it's going to take years to undo.
And earlier today, Customs and Border Protection officials said that the agents who were involved in that shooting are still on active duty, but they have been reassigned away from Minneapolis, quote, for their own protection. That, as officials here tell me, they are not sure whether these latest moves by the Trump administration to diffuse tensions here will work. Matt Gutman, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Still to come, the American Academy of Pediatrics has issued immunization schedule and its conflicts with recommendations from the CDC. Plus, we have a bit warmer temperatures this week as some of the snow continues to melt. Chris has a look at your Tuesday forecast. The stars of heated rivalry are gearing up for the Olympics as Tyra Banks offers some context about her past controversial reality show. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Tyra Banks is headed back to television screens to address the rise and fall of America's Next Top Model. Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model is the latest documentary from Netflix.
It was very, very intense. But you guys were demanding it.
The once hit reality show, which ran from 2003 to 2018, has become the topic of controversy in recent years, facing accusations of body shaming, extreme makeovers, and poor treatment of contestants after viewers unearthed past episodes. Banks admits the show sometimes went too far. The documentary comes out February 16th. They may not be real hockey players, but this week the stars of the show Heated Rivalry took part in one of winter sports' biggest honors. Hudson Williams and Connor Story are seen here serving as torchbearers ahead of the 2026 Olympic Games in Milan. HBO Max has confirmed a Heated Rivalry Season 2. A husband's attempt to save his marriage by playing a hero takes a sinister turn in the movie Untitled Home Invasion Romance. A man ends up dead and the husband, played by Jason Biggs, is brought in for questioning by police.
Can I change one of my answers?
In addition to starring in the movie, this is Biggs' directorial debut, relying on cast and crew throughout shooting.
So there was always a sense for me of, obviously I've chewed off a lot here. And I need help.
The movie is out now on Paramount Plus. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
I don't even really watch the Olympics, but I always love seeing kind of the promotions they put together for it. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Again, it is cold out there, but believe it or not, we are nearly 30 degrees warmer this morning than where we were this time yesterday. Do have some concerns for some patchy black ice on the roads that look clear, and of course, a number of schools closed as a number of back roads, neighborhood streets are still covered. Full look at your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:22 now on this Tuesday morning, and we are going to start with road conditions. So some clearing out west across parts of Kansas. In our neck of the woods, we have some roads. That's what this blue color is, listed as clear. The lighter blue is partially covered, so up around Garnett, back into Anderson County, and then down in our region, this green, that is wet pavement. But of course, in 20-degree weather, it's not actually wet. In some cases, it's going to be a little bit on the frozen side. Black ice is our biggest concern this morning on the clear roads. And I want to emphasize that. Coming in to the station this morning, my neighborhood in Joplin, the side streets are, of course, still covered. There are a lot of them. That's just Joplin alone that would have to be plowed, not to mention with everybody parking on the side streets. You can't get a snow plow down there if you wanted to. But nonetheless, we still have some covered roadways. The main roads, though, are where our black ice concern resides because it's so hard to see, and it's not going to necessarily be reported on a road conditions map. Now, we still have some partially covered roads. South side of Joplin, stretching back toward Neosho, we've got 86, 43, 175, 59. Then we head off to the east around Mount Vernon. Then just south of Cassville, and I may have missed it before, but down here, Old 71, just southeast of Pineville, still listed as partially covered. But you still need to be cautious anywhere because of that potential for black ice. Those shiny spots you see on the road this time of the morning, really throughout most of today, it's not necessarily going to be water. It's going to be ice, and you can lose control on that very quickly and very unexpectedly, too. So you really need to still be careful. I know the roads will look clear, but you got to watch out as you're traveling this morning. All right, gusty winds this morning, putting our wind chills for some of us below zero, but the good news is the winds will ease up as we head into the afternoon out there. Clouds will begin to increase across the area as well. And that's going to be about it. Now, as we get past midnight, clouds will begin to thin out again. The next thing we have as a concern is if you watch these little weird-looking clouds that show up, they're going to flare up and then disappear. That's fog, or at least the future tracks attempt to determine fog. We have concerns with freezing fog because our overnight lows are still going to be very cold the next few nights, and if we do get any fog, it means it's going to take some extra time to do some scraping on the windshields as you're heading out over the next few days, so do keep that in mind. We'll clear out for Wednesday, and it'll be late Wednesday that we'll start to see clouds increasing again across the area, and we will remain mostly cloudy heading into Thursday. You see a few light flurries possible in our far western counties, so Elk, Chautauqua, Greenwood, maybe into Montgomery County. It's a possibility. We have a low pressure that's going to pass just to our south, and it may get just close enough to bring a couple of flurries, but nothing to worry about, at least at this particular point. All right. Getting our day underway, mid-teens to start, mid-20s though by 11, and with sunny skies to start the day, it'll help with some melting. Even though it was still cold yesterday, we did get some melting done on the main roads, but again, it's that melting though that then freezes overnight and leads to those black ice concerns. Clouds increasing through the afternoon, highs into the upper 20s and low 30s. Mostly cloudy skies this evening will initially slow our temperature drop, but as we clear overnight, we get cold again, back down to about 10. We're in the low to mid-30s tomorrow into Thursday. Still into the teens overnight, and we get another blast of cold air into the weekend, back down into the teens and 20s for highs, single digits getting close to zero again for lows, but some good news, next week we might actually start to warm up a bit into the upper 30s and low 40s, and maybe even some rain shower chances, so liquid precipitation chances next Tuesday and Wednesday. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. The American Academy of Pediatrics is continuing to recommend vaccination against 18 diseases for children. Earlier this month, the CDC announced updates to its childhood immunization schedule, recommending fewer vaccines despite the opposition from the pediatricians group and several other major medical organizations. Karen Hua has more from Houston.
The American Academy of Pediatrics Child and Adolescent Immunization Schedule for 2026 recommends routine vaccination against 18 diseases.
The vaccine schedule reinforces our work to ensure that every child in every community throughout this country gets to live the safe and healthy life that they deserve.
The AAP schedule differs from the CDC's released earlier this month. The CDC's removes routine vaccination recommendations for hepatitis A and B, meningococcal disease, rotavirus, flu, RSV, and COVID-19, and downgrades them for high-risk groups and under-shared decision-making, when parents and doctors discuss to determine if treatment is appropriate.
There's no medically justified reason to downgrade the recommendations for these dangerous diseases. There's no reason children should have to suffer and die from preventable diseases.
12 major medical and healthcare organizations representing more than 1 million medical professionals are endorsing the AAP schedule.
It reflects the best available science, expert consensus, and decades of real-world data demonstrating the life-saving impact of timely vaccination. In the midst of high seasonal flu and RSV activity, and a significant resurgence in measles, it is more important than ever for the public to have transparent and consistent communication from trusted sources.
We've been lucky to have a really good pediatrician who I trust completely.
Becca Slocum says, as a mom of 4, the changes to the CDC's vaccine schedule are concerning.
We'll continue to follow our doctor's best advice, which I think will still follow the prior recommended schedule.
She says she knows how important it is to keep her kids safe and healthy. Karen Hua, CBS News, Houston.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, health experts warn about the deadly risks of cold exposure as temperatures plummet.
And we are still cold out there. We will remain cold for a while, and you got to watch out for the potential for some black ice this morning. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, fire crews rescue 6 people from boats as an Arkansas yacht club roof collapses from snow.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, January the 27th. Happy Tuesday. A lot of schools and other organizations still closed today or canceled today. You can see them at the bottom of your screen and on our website, of course. And that's just because while the main roads look pretty good, it's these rural routes, neighborhood streets, things like that that are still in some rough shape because we got to wait for them in some cases to just melt. And that's been tough to do. With the cold temperatures out there.
And even the ones that look melted, still have those slick spots.
Indeed they do. So we're going to take a quick look around the region. We're going to start with our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. And like I said, it's a good example. It may be, it may not be, but I'd be willing to bet it is. You can see some shiny spots out there just right around 3rd and Broadway. And then right down here, see the reflection? I got to get way down here. But you see that? That's black ice. And that's what you've got to watch out for. In some cases, especially in well-lit areas, it's going to be a little more obvious, but you get in areas that aren't as well lit, and you're not going to see it so well. And you've got to be extra cautious out there this morning as you travel, for those of you who do have to get on the roads. And then the other thing to watch out for is like side streets or driveways where your road may be clear, but then you've got folks coming out and that spills out that snow and that moisture that then freezes and leads to more slick spots. Even though the good portion of the road may be clear, still some slick spots out there. But on camera, 32nd in range line, 20th range line, a little harder to see because they got a car coming down here right at the camera, but still need to be careful out there this morning. And again, just watch out for those shiny spots out there, like especially on ramps, bridges, overpasses, because you don't want to go sliding. Quick look at temperatures, 21 in Joplin, 14 in Pittsburgh. Around the region, we are into the upper single digits. Neodesha, Parsons, 8 and 9. The rest of us, low mid-teens. And some low 20s. Grove still the warm spot at 22, but we're breezy this morning, so it feels like 4 below in Neodesha. We've got below 0 temperatures, Iola and Independence as well, or at least wind chills, I should say. Most of us, though, into the single digits. But despite all that, even though it doesn't feel like it, we're still upwards of almost 30 degrees warmer now than where we were 24 hours ago. Our gusty winds this morning calmed down through the late morning into the afternoon, and clouds will begin to increase across the area. And will be not too bad today. Still cold, but better. About 20 by 9, upper 20s by noon. We're looking at highs into the upper 20s and low 30s today. We're going to get cold again by this weekend. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The sub-freezing temperatures can lead to an increased risk for health problems. KOAM's Kenny Foreman breaks down what to look for and how to prevent these issues.
The snow may have stopped falling, but we're not out of the woods quite yet. According to to ready.gov, 63% of weather-related deaths can be connected to cold exposure. This makes it all the more imperative to bundle up.
The CDC outlines 2 dangerous conditions that can stem from the cold: frostbite and hypothermia. Frostbite is caused by freezing skin and can create a loss of feeling in the extremities with potential for permanent damage. Hypothermia occurs as a result of abnormally low body temperatures, with symptoms ranging from shivering and exhaustion to memory loss and slurred speech. In either case, the CDC urges anyone who has to leave their home to dress properly. This includes wearing a scarf, hat, gloves, water-resistant boots, and a coat to cover several layers of loose-fit clothing. Those at high risk generally include older adults, babies sleeping in cold rooms, as well as those who consume alcohol or illicit drugs in excess. In the event that someone is experiencing symptoms, they are advised to remove any wet clothing, find warm shelter, and seek medical attention. Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Remember to layer up and limit time outside in these dangerous temperatures. Well, in Oklahoma City, shelters are staying open to handle the overwhelming demand and keep residents safe and warm under the dangerous weather conditions. One shelter in Oklahoma City had all of its 300 beds full, and that number has been steady during this cold snap. The shelter has been prepping its staff members for over a week to have enough workers to prepare meals and work in the facility. Well, heavy snow caused an awning to collapse at an Arkansas yacht club on Sunday. Crews rescued 6 people from 2 houseboats impacted by the collapse. Another 22 people were safely evacuated. Catherine Rowley has more details on what happened.
One of the docks had a roof that had collapsed. While we were here getting the 6 people off of those 2 boats, the roof behind us collapsed, and over the course of the day has gotten worse.
Scott Joblin, the fire chief for the West Pulaski Fire Department, and his crews responded to the Little Rock Yacht Club a little after 5 on Sunday morning. They were joined by several others too.
We had resources coming from the Pulaski County Office of Emergency Management, the Little Rock Fire Department, MIMS, as well as the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office Marine Unit was en route.
During our interview, we even heard more cracking from the structure.
As a team, that was just another part of the building that collapsed. We had 7 volunteers responding here, and we had 2 more crews on standby if we needed them. But it's always a team effort when something like this happens.
Joblin told me that this was the first time a collapse like this had happened, but it's not the first call for a structural collapse during the storm.
We are starting to see reports of carports that have collapsed, some metal buildings that have collapsed, metal barns and that sort of thing, but nothing that's been an emergency situation.
Along with emergency crews, a duck hunter in the area also stepped in, helping rescue those who were stuck.
Pulaski County, I think, has a shines when it comes to that, helping each other and helping their neighbors out. He did not hesitate at all to jump in and lend a hand. It's great to see. It kind of warms you up on a cold day like this.
2 owners of boats were at the yacht club. They told me that they knew this was a possibility of something like this happening, but they've never seen anything of this magnitude.
We heard a loud pop, which woke us up. We got up, came outside, and found that the fingers had started going underwater. But as the morning progressed, about 30 minutes later, it just got worse. And so we decided that we needed to get off the boat. We grabbed a few things and we left.
Another owner came to the yacht club to be with his boat during the storm to make sure nothing happened.
So it wasn't very much fun. And then this morning, the snow load started building up, and we could see that there was a danger it was going to fall, and we got everybody off.
One boat sank due to the collapse. The Coast Guard was there to monitor any oil or gas leaks in the water. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The president threatens Canada with 100% tariffs. Plus, major changes at the Postal Service could affect when your mail arrives. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, President Trump is threatening a 100% tariff on goods from Canada if the country proceeds with the Chinese trade deal. President Trump is threatening a 100% tariff on goods from Canada. Canada agreed to lower tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles in exchange for decreased tariffs on Canadian farm products. President Trump applauded the deal at first, but his position changed after Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney criticized the president's speech in Davos, Switzerland last week, in which President Trump said, quote, "Canada lives because of the United States." If you send any time-sensitive
Mailing time-sensitive documents? Well, time is now even more of the essence. Days before the start of the new year, the U.S. Postal Service announced the date you drop mail in the mailbox may no longer be the date it's officially processed and postmarked. How significant is this?
I think it's significant in a couple of ways.
Economist Elena Patel follows the Postal Service for the Brookings Institute.
People who are mailing things very close to deadlines should be even more aware of and maybe make changes.
USPS posted on its website, while we are not changing our postmarking practices, we have made adjustments to our transportation operations. The shift could have a big impact on people who pay bills, vote, or file their taxes through the mail.
Anything that's getting mailed to a government agency should be sent hand-stamped, registered mail, return receipt requested.
The National Society of Tax Professionals is echoing the recommendation from USPS. Mail documents a few days early or go inside the post office and get the date stamped at the counter, what's called a manual postmark. The adjustment is part of the agency's 10-year plan to cut costs and restore profitability, concentrating processing work in larger regional hubs with new high-speed sorting machines.
All postal operators are basically trying to reimagine a business model that for the last 250 years has been, pretty stable. It's only since 2007 that things have gone awry.
Forging a future for service shifted by technology. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Experts say one concern is people with mobility issues or who live in rural communities far from a post office may find it difficult to get to a physical location. Separately, USPS raised the price to ship some packages starting earlier this month. That's it for Consumer Watch, and now here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, it is cold out there this morning, but believe it or not, as I've mentioned earlier, we are nearly 30 degrees warmer right now than where we were this time yesterday. Doesn't feel like it, but we are. Most of the main roads are pretty clear. Black ice is the main concern there. Of course, a number of neighborhood streets, back roads are still covered in snow. Might get a little assistance from the sun again today. Break down the details on your forecast and celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this. All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays and anniversaries, and we are going to begin with Cash Edwards in Chanute celebrating birthday number 4. Happy birthday, Cash.
Also in Chanute, Carter Pryor is celebrating birthday number 10. Happy birthday, Carter.
And Jonas Striplin celebrating birthday number 10 as well. Says happy birthday, love Mimi and your whole family.
And in Frontenac, Lillian Inch is celebrating birthday number 17. Happy birthday, Lillian.
And Vinnie Pyle celebrating birthday number 20 in Frontenac as well. A very happy birthday to you.
And in Girard, Evan Cisney is celebrating birthday number 22. It says, love Mom, Dad, Aiden, Marley, Quinn, grandparents Hanson, and Prettyman. Happy birthday, Evan.
And over to Columbus, where Tracy Smith is celebrating birthday number 60 today. Happy birthday, Tracy.
And in Grove, Oklahoma, Charlene Lee is celebrating birthday number 72. Happy birthday, Charlene.
And Dwayne Miller celebrating birthday number 73 today. Happy birthday, Dwayne.
And in Miami, Barbara Childers is celebrating birthday number 84. It says, happy birthday, we love you so very much. Happy birthday, Barbara.
And in La Harpe, we've got Bob Adair celebrating birthday number 53 with love from the whole clan. Of course, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. I've told you 100 times how much we really do enjoy celebrating these every morning. And if you would like to celebrate with us, it's super easy to do, isn't it, Samantha?
It's so easy. And like you said, I also love getting to celebrate those birthdays. You want to pay attention to this email you can see on your screen right now. It's birthdays@KLAMnewsnow.com. That's where you can send those photos, those birthdays, those anniversaries for you or your special person. But you also want to make sure that you pay plenty of attention to the deadline on your screen. So that way we can make sure to get it in plenty of time to be able to celebrate on your special day.
Of course, very important information there, and we have some very important information for you this morning. So here's the thing. A number of the main roads in our region, most of them, are pretty clear of snow. It's black ice we have a concern with. When I left the station yesterday, heading down 69 to Riverton, through Riverton, and then back east through Galena and into Joplin onto 66, the thing I saw that brought me the most concern was all of the melting that had taken place. There were sections of these highways that were very wet. And so our concern this morning on some of these roads is going to be the potential for black ice. So what we've got, this blue color here, these are roads that are listed as clear by the Department of Transportation. The green is wet pavement, but of course in this case, it's obviously not going to be wet. It's going to be frozen, and KDOT is reporting, black ice and blowing snow from the gusty winds. It's blowing some of that snow back out there. And then that light blue up here into Anderson County around Garnett, that is still partially covered. On the Missouri side, a huge improvement. Again, through this whole storm, most of the highways south of 70, I-70, were listed as covered. We're doing better. Most of these listed as clear, but again, you've got to watch out for black ice. We still do have some partially covered roadways back through Lawrence, Berry, McDonald, and Newton counties, and south side of Joplin here. So you still need to be cautious as you're heading out this morning, especially if you're heading down south. But you need to be really cautious everywhere because we have the black ice concerns. Of course, neighborhood streets, rural roads, a lot of those still covered in snow. And the other issue is, and we've shown you on some of the cameras, is you got a road and you've got a drive on either side, people pulling out of an untreated road, dragging that snow onto the road, and then it hardens, it freezes more so, and then you've got more slick spots on a main road where maybe a good portion of it's clear, and then you get to those drives and it's not so clear. So do be careful if you're heading out this morning. Of course, I know a lot of businesses, schools are closed this morning, which you can see down below or on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/closings. Now, it's breezy this morning, yes, but some good news, the wind will ease up late through the morning and into the afternoon. So that's why as we look at the future track, you'll start to see these wind arrows. When the winds are calm or light and variable, you'll see the wind arrows go a little wonky out there because the system doesn't know how to interpret calm, because it's like, I have to show arrows, but there's no actual wind, so you'll see them do funny things on occasion. Clouds will increase into the afternoon and evening hours, and then after midnight, clouds will begin to decrease again. And our other concern, especially tomorrow, maybe Thursday morning, is going to be the potential for some patchy fog, and in this case, it would be freezing fog. So that could lead to you needing to scrape the windshield as you're heading out for your Wednesday morning, so keep that in mind. Southwest winds by Wednesday start to pick up just a bit, about 5-10 miles an hour. But as they pick up earlier in the first part of the day, it could drop our wind chills 5-10 degrees above zero. And then by the afternoon, sunny skies out there, and so we should get a little more melting done here and there. And then as we head into Wednesday evening, the clouds will begin to thicken up again, and we are looking at mostly cloudy skies Wednesday night into Thursday. We get a low pressure that passes by just to our southwest here. And you saw briefly maybe a flurry or two, but we're not looking at anything significant from any potential flurries as we head into Thursday. I think otherwise we're cloudy and a little bit on the cold side again. We're in the mid-teens to start our day, mid-20s by 11 a.m., but with that sunshine, should get a little more melting done. But again, anything that refreezes tonight, you got to still watch out tomorrow morning for that potential for black ice. Got another look at your forecast and your wake-up recap in just a moment. And when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., these shoes, yeah, those ones, when they vanish, that's okay. We're going to give a whole new meaning to stepping on Legos. There they are. Talk about that and more at 7 a.m.
This is your Wake Up Recap for January 27th, your top stories to start your day. The forest states continues to dig out from a punishing winter storm that brought heavy snow, fierce winds, and dangerous cold to the region. Road crews have been working hard to clear the streets, and businesses are clearing parking lots and driveways. But driving conditions could be iffy for a while, and some schools have already canceled classes for a second day because of the cold. In Carthage, snow removal crews have been working nearly around the clock since the storm moved through. Zipper Lawn Care of Carthage started operations shoveling sidewalks and clearing business parking lots. Despite sunshine, it's not enough to melt the snow quickly. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And we'll get a little more sunshine out there to help with some melting, but could lead to more black ice concerns on the main roads as we go overnight tonight into tomorrow. And here's what we got. Clouds increasing this afternoon, a little bit warmer, upper 20s, low 30s. It's breezy now, but our winds will begin to become calm by late morning into the afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies actually will slow our temperature drop momentarily. The skies begin to clear after midnight, and we're going to drop back down to about 10. Southwest winds 5 to 10 tomorrow. Low mid 30s continue. Clouds will return late Wednesday into Thursday, and then the cold air returns into this weekend back into the upper teens, low 20s, single digits for the lows. But hey, look at next week. It looks a little better. We're talking some upper 30s, low 40s, and liquid rain chances. Not frozen precipitation chances, but liquid precipitation chances next Tuesday and Wednesday. Slight as they are, at least they are expected to be liquid, not frozen.
Well, thanks, Chris. Well, if you're looking for something that's cold but maybe a bit more enjoyable, coming up today at noon, we're making a cold fudge cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
I didn't know, warm cake doesn't sound like a good idea, but I don't know. I'm not an expert. Huh, okay. Well, I'm very curious about this now. Of course, your morning news does continue on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Dr. Sling Gallender discussing why some doctors are breaking from federal vaccine guidance, and we'll share tips for parents who are confused by the recent vaccine recommendations.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Charlene Patton with the Kansas Soybean Commission shows us another one of her recipes, great for family game nights.
And the sub-freezing temperatures can lead to an increased risk for health problems. We're going to break down what to look for and how to prevent those issues. It's going to wrap it up for us for now, though. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
I'll see you today at noon.